Hey, how's it going, everyone? Hope you guys are having a good one. This is Ty with PDMA. I wanted to make a quick little video just to kind of go over 5 things that I've seen personally when it comes to companies in general, but especially home remodeling companies. Things they do wrong, which could be easily fixed and easily boost your ROIs, right? So your return on investment. I wanted to do more of a visual thing, so I have a Google Doc here of just 5 things you can visually see that a lot of things you guys may be doing wrong and just, ways you can fix it, right? So, kind of starting off with number one is having a clear offer. The one thing I've seen a lot of is a lot of companies, they don't have a clear incentive, right? They don't really have something that is pushing the audience to be like, this is a good deal, you should look into it, right? You know, Especially with social media, advertising is it's something where it's not like Google. Google is you're finding a customer then and there. They're finding you, when they really want to get that service done, right? Then and there. More social media marketing is you're targeting people consistently that have been on the edge of it, right? So they've been thinking about getting that service done, but they haven't actually used the action in looking up a remodeling company in their area or doing some research to actually get their stuff done, or for any service, right? So you're finding them on the cusp where they're kind of like a warm and cold lead, right? So they're, instead of hot or cold, they're like lukewarm, right? So you have to have a good incentive to where you're pushing them to actually being more of a hot lead, right? So things like percentage off, special deals, maybe like, some type of discount, whatever. Maybe like we'll do a bathroom remodel for free, and we'll also give you like a floor design for like the rest of your house or whatever. You know what I mean? Just some type of incentive, and that's where you guys are gonna have to do your own due diligence and actually finding a good offer that you can, supply comfortably, but that would actually encourage customers to want to, pay for your service. Another tip, actually, kind of a bonus tip, that I'm talking is a lot of companies, what they do is they offer too many services at once. That's a big no-no. There's a little exercise, I like to do where let's say you look around and I want you to look at every brown, piece of item in your room, right? Look around, look at every brown piece of item, and then close your eyes, right? And then now I want you to visualize everything that's blue in your room, right? I mean, it's going to be pretty hard because you're focusing so much on the brown stuff in your room, like I said. So finding one, specific service, if it's bathroom remodeling or doing kitchen remodeling, and just focusing that on the ad specifically, you're able to target more of that audience, right, and really resonate with them. And that ad's gonna resonate with them more as well, instead of showing every single service you do, right? So another one is kind of going into targeting, is targeting everyone. So kind of touching on that, a lot of companies do more broad targeting, right? Where they'll post an ad and they don't do any edits where, you may be lowering the age or changing even like the zip codes in your area, targeting certain demographics and stuff. Those are things you want to do. Like when it comes to home ownership, especially, what I've seen in California is what usually works is around 30 to like plus, because that's when a lot of people are more likely to be able to buy a house. Like you don't want to target someone that's like 16 years old because they can't even drink yet. You know what I mean? So it's like, how are they gonna be able to buy a house at 16 years of age? It's not like it's not liable. You're just wasting money at that point. So, really getting a good demographic down and tweaking it as you go to make sure that you're able to, find the best people to target. Another thing is landing pages, and this is another very important thing, right? The one thing, and this is what I want to urge you not to do, unless you are a big company and you're doing multiple different ads, and one of your ads is just strictly trying to bring awareness to your company, then you could do it. But if you want strictly trying to get leads and get those leads to turn into book customers, you don't want to have an ad where it takes you directly to the website, because there's too much stimulation. There's too much stimulation to where, let's say, your ad takes you to like your website or whatever, right? And you're a customer, like there's just so much stuff they have to go through where they're gonna like want to read through things, like they may go to your about me page, whatever. There's a lot of different like steps that they may take before actually, filling out a form on your website or even calling you guys to where like people end up getting turned off and you just end up losing customers. So the best thing to do is actually having like a simple landing page, right? This is a photo I actually took off a company where I really liked their landing page. I still think there's other things they can do to fix it, but this is kind of like a good starter, right? So we're having where it's a simple landing page that it takes you to where it's your name, maybe your email, your phone number, zip code, and also maybe with some more information like, um, you know, how old is your bathroom, right? Or like, are you a homeowner or are you renting? You know what I mean? So things like that, where it's going to benefit you to know more about their situation, but the main thing is you're siphoning out all the people that are just going to be like putting in their information and maybe not even show up for the meeting because it's not like a big deal to them. But if a person were to like fill out a form and it's got like a decent amount of questions to where it makes them think, but not too many to where you're turning off everyone, then that's going to really siphon out the bad ones and leave the ones who are more willing to actually pay for a certain service. So that's something you can always look at is putting together a small landing page. Don't do a lot. A lot of people do that is they add too much stuff. They add too much case studies. They add just way too much distractions from the main objective, which is to get them to fill out a form so you can contact them and provide the service and collect money at the very end, right? Another thing is bad visuals. So this is something I actually saw on Google I wanted to bring out, which is amazing, before and after, right? A lot of ads I've seen, a lot of it's just like generic, right? Generic stock photos and stuff like that. Things that are just look fake. They look fake, or maybe like just like not a big incentive to what you're doing, right? If you're, let's say, a bath and remodeling company, strictly with that, and you post an ad and it's just like a photo of a house, and you're like, we're a bath and remodeling company. I mean, like, there's no incentive there. Like, they want to see, okay, well, what work have you done, right? So things like this, where you're doing like a before and after of a kitchen, where like one kitchen, it still looks nice, but it's a bit out of date, and then this one's newer, right? So things like that work really well. Another thing is if you guys are on a job site, what you want to do, you could do is set up a camera, in like the house or whatever while you're doing your work and press record, right? And just record yourself doing the work. You can speed it up or pay somebody to speed it up or something like that. But just really showing customers or like potential customers, how you get your work done. It really turns people on when it comes to buying stuff. It's like a really cool DIY way, where people just want to see it. They want to interact. They want to see what you guys do and how well you guys do it. And another thing is too that not a lot of people talk about is the camera quality. And you may be a little surprised about this. Sometimes having not the best camera quality works surprisingly well. It makes it more real. I guess it's one of those things where when you see ads online, like we kind of tend to block it out mentally. So when we see something that looks too perfect, in a way, a lot of us block it out. So, even it's okay if you have like a bad phone, right? Where you don't want it to be too bad where it's like completely pixely, but where it just looks real. It genuinely looks like you're working and you're just recording what you're doing. People love that, and it is more of an incentive for people to actually want to look into you, research more about you, and in turn get you to do provide the same service for them. So finally is following up, right? The most important part, a follow up system. You know, People may not be closed on the first time, but they may be closed on the second or third time you've talked to them or they've interacted with your business. So it's always good to have a follow up system, right? So even let's say you do book a customer, you do book a client, and let's say you book them for, it's like, let's say it's Monday and you book them for Wednesday or Thursday for a quote. You want to have a little bit of follow up system in between to where you're kind of texting them incrementally, not too much where they're like, stop blowing up my phone, but to the point where they're able to kind of just keep you in their mind, right? So they know for a fact, I raised my hand for this service, I'm going to go through with it. So having that kind of CRM system, even after, even being like a thank you page, right? After you completed the service, like sending a thank you text message actually can go a lot, well, a long way, right? They'll be like, oh, well, this company, it goes a long way, right? Just kind of showing your appreciation, for even working with them, and just people, end up liking that, and may even write a review, or you could post a review page on there, and in turn you can kind of use that to utilize to get more customers. So, those are just things you can do, having a good follow-up system. But yeah, I wanted to keep this short. I love just keeping raw videos. I may change it later, if you guys want to enjoy more edited videos. But just, things that I've noticed personally where people can kind of like increase their profitability on when it comes to running ads. I hope you guys are able to learn something from it, right? So having a clear offer, not targeting everyone, making sure that you're, niching down who you're targeting, stuff like that. Having a good landing page to where once they are targeted, it's just not sent to a terrible page to where they're not able to convert, but a page to where it converts customers fast, but also siphoning out the bad ones, right? Visuals, right? So having good ads where they're enticing visually to customers to where they're able to stop, and they're like, whoa, what is this? This is pretty cool, right? And having a good follow-up system to when you do book them in, you're able to remind them, also send in maybe a few case studies here and there to really boost your credibility, and even just before after you've completed the work, to get them to do a few extra things like write a review, or even if they're happy enough, do a quick little 15-minute case study video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you benefited a little bit off of it, and I will see you guys in the next one.